Otakus, welcome and rejoice. Today we're going to talk about one of the most amazing anime that has ever been created, the 7 Deadly Sins. And with the 7 Deadly Sins Wrath of the Gods airing in a few weeks, we thought of making a list which would cover its best moments until now, right? So, in honor of this amazing anime, I present to you the top 10 iconic and unforgettable moments of the 7 Deadly Sins. Let's get started. Starting off the list, we have Bon vs. Jericho. Bon is one of the 7 Deadly Sins, and he's known to be an immortal human after he drank from the Fountain of Youth. Because of that, Bon can take any hit, any blow, and any fight without dying, because his body immediately regenerates. Since their defeat 10 years ago, Bon was imprisoned in the boss dungeon and has never tried to escape. He's been put in solitary and weakened so that he never tries to run away. But then, after Diane and Melios have been reunited, they went after Bon. Bon became hopeful and broke out of his prison cell. Jericho, a respectful knight, came to stop Bon, and that's when Bon's powers were revealed. He escaped every punch and attack Jericho threw his way without a scratch. And he defeated Jericho and escaped the prison to join Melios. Next up, we've got Melios against Gil Thunder. We've had a glimpse of Melios' powers since the first episode where he protected Elizabeth, but it was apparent that by the day, Melios was getting stronger and stronger. The news of him being still alive put fear in the kingdom. So, as a way to make sure he was still alive, Gil Thunder, the head of the knights, threw a spear across 7 miles toward Burnia village where Melios was said to be spotted. Melios felt the spear coming and went out of the cabin to spot the spear and catch it. And so he did. After catching the spear and breaking some buildings in the process, Melios redirects the spear from where it came from and it went directly and perfectly to Gil Thunder's head. This was the only proof he needed to be sure that Melios was still up and running. And at Bray, we've got Gil against Melios and his team. After traveling to the other side, Bon finds the spirit of Elaine, his dead lover, and he chases her until he's facing her. King, Elaine's brother, intervenes and turns Bon into stone. Elaine reverses the curse and explains everything to the king and clears up the atmosphere. Much to King's surprise, he ends up forgiving Bon, and they make their way back to Melios and Diane, who were losing to a knight called Gila. King starts fighting against Gila, and that's where his powers are unleashed. Using his treasure, King takes down Gila and keeps aiming blows at her until she's weakened. Close to be defeated, Gila retraces back her steps and gets away from the fight before the king kills her. Up next, we've got the King against Hellbram. Best friends are complicated, and that's how King and Hellbram's friendship was. Hellbram is the King's best friend, and has a hatred which is running so deep that he keeps slaughtering humans whenever he can. In this episode, Hellbram starts fighting with the King blow for blow, magic for magic. Both of them are getting tired, but both are very powerful. King keeps sending blows to Hellbram until he starts having the upper hand, and he asks him if he still wants to destroy humans. Hellbram says he can't stop himself, and the King sends him one last blow. Hellbram is defeated, and King approaches him to say goodbye. In this moment, we get a glimpse of Elizabeth's powers. Hendrickson became the most powerful human since he took the demon's blood and put it on him. He took that demon's powers and used it for his own good to fight Melios. And he was winning. As a way to kill Melios, Hendrickson sent one final blow called Dead End to Melios, but until the last moments, Hawk interfered and took the attack for Melios. Hawk was burned to a crisp, and Elizabeth was heartbroken. She threw herself over the body of Hawk, and suddenly a light awakened from her that brought everything to life, and flowers bloomed, Melios' stamina returned, and everyone felt ready to fight again. It was at that moment that everybody realized that Elizabeth was not a simple human. She was a goddess.
やっぱ本物の豚を使った丸焼きじゃねえとダメか。
At number 5, we've got the Hawk Chase. After Hawk's body was turned to a crisp, it crumbled and a mini Hawk appeared from the crumbles. He became so tiny it was hard to see him. After Hendrickson's defeat, all the members went back to the cabin where Meletus served Elizabeth a meat pie in the form of a pig. After declaring that he should use pork in it, Hawk runs away from the cabin, afraid for his life, and Melios declares that whoever catches Hawk is a winner. Diane, King, Elizabeth, and Melios go on their way to catch Hawk, but every time they come across him, he manages to get away. Finally, Hawk makes his way back to the cabin on his own after smelling Bun's cooking, and he indulges himself in the food Bun made for him, and Bun declares himself the winner.
正確にはギル・サンダーに気取られぬよう尾行し、彼を日夜付け狙う者を捕らえてほしいのだ。ギルボーが狙われてる?
Next up, we've got the King's Premonition. Marlin sends out Melios in the quest to find Gil Thunder's stalker, which he does, only to find that Vivian was Gil Thunder's stalker all along. Marlin shows her magic power by cursing Vivian with a cursed ring on her finger. Marlin then speaks to Melios about the clan of demons and 10 commandments, which are the highest class in the demon world. The demons are so powerful, they'll bring destruction to humans if they were ever to be released. But what's bugging them more is the fact that the king, Elizabeth's father, has a premonition where he sees 10 great shadows that are menacing Camelot, which refers to the 10 commandments who will be released soon.
王国を守った汝らの功績を称えて、ここに勲章を授与する。名を呼ばれた者から前に。意義
あり。その勲章授与に意義あり。
At number 3, we've got handing out the medals. After the 7 deadly sins helped in defeating Hendrickson and gave back the kingdom to the rightful king, Elizabeth's father decided to give them medals as a way to thank them and making them heroes again. On that day, before King Bartro was able to hand out the medals, Melios asked the crowd if anyone was against this, and so 3 of the holy knights opposed and faced Melios so he can show him his real powers to determine if he deserves the medals. Melios fought Doggetto, one of the 3, and defeated him easily. The other 2 stepped back, and King Bartro was finally able to hand out the medals to the 7 heroes. Up next, we got a fight between King and an Albion. King, after what happened to the fairies' forest, was no longer considered a king of fairies. He was hated by them, and instead, Bon was considered the new king. But that all changed when an Albion was approaching the forest and started destroying it. King starts battling with the Albion until his powers wear out. The fairies came to help, and they start pushing the king away so he can save himself, because they don't know what will happen to them if the king of fairies dies. But King refuses and tries one last time with the help of all the fairies to destroy the Albion, and he creates a large spear that has a golden glow and sends it to the Albion as a last resort. The power was enough to kill the Albion and dissipate it, but King fell unconscious and didn't witness the moment himself. And finally, at number 1, we've got Melios against the 10 Commandments. Since the beginning of the journey, Melios started to gain back his powers ever so slowly. He was banned from the demon world a long time ago because he took an interest in humans. Melios was bound to be the king of the demons one day, but that all changed when he was banned.
お前は実に罪深い男だよ。この日をどれほど待ち望んだことか。
After the 10 Commandments were released, the main goal was to end Melios' life and punish him for his betrayal. And so they did this in this episode. Melios was standing alone fighting against all the demons. All of them were giving blow after blow, and Melios was unleashing his powers as well. At first he was holding back with a counterattack to end them all, but because of Esteros' power, he couldn't send his revenge counter and ended up being defeated for the first time. He fell to the ground, and Esteros stomped on him with his foot to kill all of his hearts. So, what do you think of our top 10 The 7 Deadly Sins moments? Do you think there are other moments that are more deserving to be on the list? Feel free to give your opinions in the comments section below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to never miss our new uploads. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.
Thank you.